Heyo, everybody. This is Cory Bender here on BWC Internet Radio. At least I think. Wait, yeah, I'm still on BWC. Anyway, I'm glad you guys missed the apocalypse because I sure did, and I hope you watched our apocalypse editions of JMFPSB. Very good stuff. Well, I'm here. We're all here. We're all alive. At least all the ones that survived the so-called rapture. That really didn't happen. But anyway. I'm sure you guys are excited for some NBA playoffs still, because I know I am, because I would have been so heartbroken if I would have either died in the rapture or if a lot of the players would have died too, because then I couldn't watch any NBA basketball, and I would have pissed myself. Anyway, let's go break down this series of the Miami Heat and, the Chicago Bulls. Game 3, what happened was another case of showing Miami that they are indeed the better team. And I don't know how much we have to stress this here. I had something new I want to talk about, but I didn't write it down. I completely forgot about it. It's basically the same thing. Miami performs really great at home, especially in the playoffs. 7-0 at home. Now that they had just won, they just can't really be beaten at home. Not even Boston could beat them, even though they did have a pretty banged up team. You think you could take one game. But Miami just plays really good at home. The role players are very great at home. When you have your James Jones doing the work. And why does this thing have to freeze? Oh, here we go. I'm back. Anyway, Mike Miller's not shooting at his greatest like he used to be, but now he's starting to contribute with rebounding, which the Miami Heat have kind of failed to do in games 1 and 2. With the presence of Udonis Haslem, he gives them a little post game, at least a little bit. Kind of gave him that spark of in game 2 to maybe get him on a run. And then simply the Bulls just can't score, like we said. When Derrick Rose can't score and is struggling, there's not really that second option. Yes, Boozer did score a lot of points for once in his life in this series, or actually throughout this playoffs, but it still wasn't enough because no one else can score. And yes, the Bulls do play a static defense, but Chris Bosh had one of his great games. Well, LeBron D-Wade, I don't know how many points he scored. I know Bosh went for 34, which you don't really see that much, because you've heard all the time about people poke fun at Bosh by calling the big three 2.5 men, with him being the half guy, and a bunch of other stuff poking fun at him. He's had his moments, of course. He's going to. He is a superstar in this league. I guess you can consider him a star if you want. But really, it's hard to score on a team when you have LeBron James and Dwayne Wade on your team. And, Chris Bosh was the man in Toronto, but he's gotten used to it. He's gotten in his role. And when LeBron James and Dwayne Wade aren't scoring as much as they used to, they have that third option. They have 3 options to go to when they score. And even then, at home, they can go to the role players. Not so much on the road, but when you have that security of knowing you'll be able to score, and you can play lights-out defense, it's all over. You have to pick them as the NBA champions. Beginning of the year... Oh, my mic just dropped. Sorry. Anyway, the beginning of the year, like I had said, I did not pick them. I picked them to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I believe I either picked the Bulls or the Celtics to go to the NBA Finals. But I didn't see the Heat to gel right away. I thought it'd be a year, because I didn't think all 3 of those guys would be used to having, basically take turns. All 3 of us have made up to the conclusion that they have a meeting every day before a game, and they go, okay, do you want LeBron, you get game 1 to take over, you can do game 2 or whatever, it's just a joke, but it could actually happen, or it just happens in the court. But that's just a little joke we have. Anyway, yeah, like I said, having the security of knowing you'll be able to score, 3 not just good scoring options, but great scoring options, at least most of the time, for the 2 of the guys. Because Bosh will have his moments. He's not the best rebounder, which you kind of need him to do because he's a big man, but he'll contribute in other ways. He'll set good screens. He's a good basketball player. When you have 3 of the best basketball players in the world on your team, how can you pick against them? Sure you could in the regular season when they weren't gelling right away, and to be honest, I wasn't surprised at all that they weren't gelling right away. I didn't think that they'd get it done by the Eastern Conference Finals. I wasn't sure. But you know what, they have, and they're facing a Bulls team that can really just beat the average teams in the NBA, hence your Atlanta Hawks and Pacers. And even the Pacers are below average. The Bulls' problem is they rely too much on Derrick Rose, and that's the problem for not getting another superstar on the team. It's not like they didn't try in the offseason, but they just didn't get another superstar, so they tried to surround him with role players. And that doesn't always work out because you need at least two superstars or at least another star to go with your main guy. Because role players are good and you need them, but when you rely too much on them, they're not going to perform at their best. Because some nights maybe Luol Deng will have it be the second guy to score a lot. But on nights when Derrick Rose isn't scoring, it's all over for the Bulls because he is their main guy. And he hasn't been doing good in the series. Why? Because he's getting double teamed like shit. I mean, if you were expecting Miami to not play hard on Derrick Rose, then you're insane. Because when you're talking about the MVP of the league, you have to double team him, and especially in the case of him having a weak supporting cast. I mean, Miami's not going to be afraid of letting open Keith Bogans or Luol Deng most of the time, because most of the time they might not be able to hit it. And even then, they play such good defense, they can rotate so good. And, you have your three-point shooters and maybe a Kyle Korver, but he's been struggling as of late, throughout the entire playoffs. And I don't know what's really happened to him. Something is bad with his shot. Boozer kind of found his game, but Derrick Rose has been struggling. So the Bulls really what they need to do is score and play better, as good defense as they have been. And Derrick Rose needs to take over games like he can, because the only way they'll win is if he lifts them, and he is the whole team. They need another guy, like we said, in free agency, hopefully, or maybe they can trade for someone. Because, like we said, I think me and Ryan explained the best that you get another star or superstar, we could easily pick them to beat Miami. I mean, maybe not easily, but we could pick them for the NBA Finals. But right now, unless all three of Miami's big three can't perform at their best and their role players have a bad game 4, then they're not going to lose. And then they'll go up 3-1, and I think it'll eventually all be over. I don't care if the Bulls are at home or not. I think all hope will be lost. I know Ryan doesn't believe in momentum, but I kind of do in basketball. I know there's a lot of days off, but it's also the same thing with football. And momentum kind of plays a little part. But really, like, the things like momentum and experience don't always imply a lot of time in basketball or in any sport in general. It's just up to the matter of fact that it's how you perform that day. It's how you're feeling that day. It's what you're going to do in that game. You have to put all the things behind you. You have to perform in that game. You have to take it one game at a time. And that's all you can do, and hope for the best. You do your scouting, you do your get filming, you do whatever you can to get your bad habits out of the way, and you just go out and play basketball and play and go with your instincts or whatever. And you know what? For the series, I'm going to predict it right now. I'm going to say Miami in 5, like I did for the Boston series. Boston was a different reason because they're more banged up, and I really saw the momentum on Miami's side. And right now, we've explained before about Chicago is overrated. They are my team, but they are overrated. And I don't see why so many guys pick them to win the NBA Finals. Maybe it's because Michael Jordan's given them so much credit and they want to go. I mean, who would want to go against MJ in an argument for basketball-related terms? I mean, yes, he's a terrible owner for the Bobcats, but basketball-wise, I wouldn't go against Michael Jordan. I mean, who would? You have to be pretty crazy to do that. But I think maybe that's a big factor too in that. And also, winning Coach of the Year for Tom Thibodeau, they have the MVP. Maybe they think they'll just gel around him, which is true for most of the regular season. But when it comes to crunch time in the playoffs, you can't just rely on one guy. Hence why the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Dallas Mavericks will both destroy them if they made it to the NBA Finals, because they have a team, not just one guy. Yes, I am hard on Russell Westbrook, but he's also a top 5 point guard in this league. They have their Kevin Durant as their other star. Well, he's the superstar, and Russell Westbrook is their star. And then you built a team around him with Kendrick Perkins and all these good role players. Dallas Mavericks, they have an old point guard in Jason Kidd, good basketball IQ. He's very good and he's very savvy for a 38-year-old. Dirk Nowitzki's the superstar of that team. He can hit a shot from anywhere, and he can drive the lane when he wants to. He's not much of a post presence, but I like a dual threat in my power forward. And then you build a team around him with shooters and Jason Terry, a good slasher, and J.J. Barea. And Miami, you have the big three. So that's all the reasons why the Bulls won't win this series. And if you disagree, send us an email. I don't remember the account, but it's in all of our other videos. I'm sure we'll have it somewhere. Post something on this video, and just give us your thoughts. And hopefully we'll get some more views now that my friend is trying to advertise for us. And please go to BWC Internet Media Facebook page and go to Ryan. If you're looking at this on Ryan's channel, probably are. go watch the rest of our videos, and they're all really good, especially the Apocalypse ones, where we kept on referencing, if we're gonna make it past Saturday, which we did, and we weren't very surprised. And hopefully you're watching this with us, and I want to thank you guys so very much for listening to me. This is kind of late. I missed most of the Thunder game because of homework, so I'm gonna get to that hopefully. And hope you guys enjoy the rest of this NBA playoffs, and wish that we don't have a lockout for bat and football. And thank you for listening to this podcast, everyone. This is Cory Bender signing off here on BWC, Internet Radio.